Hi everybody! Today I'm going to be working on a colouring tag video, and this is a tag that I saw on the channel of Norwegian colorist. I will link the channel in the description below and her actual video that I watched. And what it is there's a list of 20 prompts or ideas or themes, and what you do is you look through your old colourings and find the first time you coloured that prompt and the last time you coloured that prompt, just to compare and contrast, see how you've come along. And I thought that sounded really interesting. She did say that anyone could join, anyone could try, so I thought, hey, why not give it a go? And this is my first try. The first prompt on the list is your first colouring book, and here we go, this is my first colouring book. From way back in the day, 2015, 2016, the very first one I ever had, back when the adult colouring craze first started getting big. And my mum bought me this just to keep me occupied during a rainy holiday up in Wales while we were staying over with them. So yeah, this is where it all started, my very first colouring book, and I'll leave that one there because it fits in with the second prompt. But my latest colouring books, back to the first prompt, my latest colouring books, I have two that I bought both at the same time. And these are pretty dark and gothic-y kind of looking ones, but I thought they looked really cool and I can't wait to get started on them. But yeah, this is the first one. This is called Dark Beauty, Mystic and Fantasy Horror Colouring Book for Adults. This is by Crook, if I remember right. I don't think it's actually written down, but yeah, I think it's called Crook. And those are really cool pictures in there. I can't wait to start colouring it. The other one is A Colourless Kingdom, Volume 2, Dark and Gothic by Chris Ortega. Another kind of dark one. I really love pictures like this. I really can't wait to get started on these ones. But yeah, I love Day of the Dead. That's awesome. And there we go. Those are my two newest colouring books. And the second prompt is your very first page, and this is why I left this one here. And my very first colouring page, this one. way back in the day, we're just flat colouring, some crystals stuck on. I loved my crystals even back then, but yeah, that's my very first colouring in my very first book. And my latest finished page, you'll be seeing this one at the end as well because it fits in with one of the other prompts, but my latest finished page that I just finished this morning doing the background for, from Alice in Wonderland colouring book by Jasmine Becky Griffith. And this one will be a bit of a spoiler for my January pages with my little rabbit theme, but there we go. That is my latest colouring page that I just did this background this morning, scrapbooking paper. And this one is with Arteza Castle Arts pencils. There you go. I tried to make her dress look like black velvet, with these bits being more satiny along the edges of her sleeves. I'm not entirely sure how it quite works, but yeah, that's my version of Alice with a little gothic makeover. My latest colouring page. The next prompt is your first and your latest double page spread. So my first double page spread is from The Time Chamber by Darius Song, and this is a book that I bought second hand online. This is the double page spread. Can't get it all in, but yeah, there we go. And in this one I ended up using lots of acrylic paint and covering up the writing because this page had already been coloured with like felt tip markers or super tips or something, and the ink had soaked through onto this page, so I had to do my best to cover that up, and I was really chuffed with the way I managed to do that. Not having very many supplies at the time, I was really quite limited, so I was quite impressed with the way I managed to deal with that. Mostly acrylic paint, silver and gold acrylic paint. There's lots of white gel pen and pencil shading with Zencolor pencils. Those leaves might be gel pen or they might be acrylic. It's kind of hard to tell. I did not write down what I used, but yeah, kind of monochrome, silver, gold, black, white, just with the fairish red hair there, and I was super chuffed with that when it was done. Yeah, that is from The Time Chamber by Darius Song. My latest double page spread is from Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosanes. I'm sorry, Kirby, I don't know how to say your name. But yeah, I'm super chuffed with this one as well. Oh, if I can find it. There we go. This one, which is also featured in my owls video. Here, this is my latest double page spread that I did for, I think this was a challenge for making a page super sparkly, I think, if I remember right. So there's lots and lots of glitter on this one. Of course, glitter never wants to show on camera. But the snow is, yeah, super covered with glitter. There's some snowflake stickers. Mostly Arteza pencils, I think, this one. The sky black acrylic paint. I tried to give a little bit of a Northern Lights kind of shining behind the mountains there. And that's glittering onto the snow. But yeah, that was really fun to do. I did enjoy that, actually. And it does look really good when it's done, so yeah. Double page spreads are a lot of work. They take ages, but they do look really cool most of the time. All right, next we have your first and your latest background. This one is one of my very first backgrounds. It's an attempt at a watercolor kind of galaxy. There we go, kind of watercolor galaxy there. I did print, this is by Josh Lee. I did print it out onto watercolor paper. It's really cheap, thin watercolor paper, but it does fit through the printer, so I like to keep a little stash of it around. And yeah, that's one of my very first attempts at a watercolor galaxy, with just white gel pen, I think. Stars dotted on top there. It could be mostly watercolor, I think, that one. Just a little bit of pencil shading. The shirt is a little bit sparkly, so I might have used some iridescent medium on there. This kind of mechanical part of her face, I think, is Pastel. That would have been Zen colour back then. So yeah, that's one of my very first background attempts. One of my better, later ones is from Women of the World Colouring Heaven Collection. And it's by Kissy Art, if I remember right. And yeah, here we go. There we go, should get it all on screen. There we go, this background I added myself. I printed out a Union flag from the computer and traced it onto the background of the page, and then I painted it with tea. Just soaked a tea bag in a little ramekin of water and painted it onto there. And looking at it now, I should have continued behind her sleeve, because her sleeve should be transparent. Oh well, live and learn. I might go back and finish that properly, but as it stands, she's done, and that's one of my latest backgrounds, getting a bit adventurous there and experimental, but it works. There we go, Women of the World, and that one was by Kissy Art. The next prompt is skin or a person. My very first person I coloured is from way back in the day, from this Mythical Themes colouring book. I don't think any artist is cited. Christopher Hewer, actually. Yeah, that could be Christopher Hewer as the artist, but anyways, the one that I coloured in here is hiding right now, apparently. The one that I coloured in here is this lady here, just with super tips. Mainly flat colour, but I can see there is a little bit of shading I've got going on there. And the face and her arms. There are two colours in there on that skin. So not terrible for a very beginner. But yeah, one of the very first pictures way back in the day, that one. And the first person I ever coloured. From Mythical Themes colouring book. And one of my latest is my Christmas tree girl from the December time lapse. Not the latest one I've done, but I'm trying to pick a different picture or book for each prompt, just to keep things interesting for you and for myself. So yep, this is the one I've chosen to show from one of my latest skin colourings, and that one is marker base with Arteza Castle Art pencils. And yeah, pretty pleased with how that turned out. I do love colouring skin. One of my favourite things. Skin and hair are my favourite things to colour in. But yeah, and that's one I drew myself. So there we go. That is my latest attempt at skin. Next, we have fur. Animal fur. And this is one of my first attempts at animal fur. And I don't think I actually did a lot to show fur on that little cat there, to be honest. I think most of the line work was there already. And I've just shaded him with black and a bit of purple. Little black cat again to represent my little cat. Yep, my very first attempt at animal fur. And my latest attempt that I found was actually one from a drawing that I did myself. So I'm not entirely sure this counts, but I'll show it anyway. It's the last time I did fur. And here we go, that was the last time that I did fur. This is just with graphite pencils, hoping you can recognise Rocket Raccoon there from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Yeah, he's all furry and fluffy. So that's the last time that I did fur. Technically not colouring, but it's the last time I did fur, so I'm going to count it. There we go. Plus I get to show off my artwork. There we go, Rocket Raccoon with his fur. The next prompt is gem or crystal. And I did have to really look to find these, actually. I really don't colour enough gems or crystals, apparently. But yeah, the first one I have coloured is from Sorceresses and Sorcerers Special, Colouring Heaven by Nelke Schumacher. And it was this ring here. I seem to have some sort of a opal effect going on there. Not very detailed or even much of an effort, I don't think, but it seemed to fit the picture at the time, and that's the first time I ever coloured a gem, so I'm going to give myself a bit of leniency. Yeah, that's my first gem there. And this one was when I first got my Arteza watercolour pencils, and this is just using them dry. I didn't activate them at all, that is all a bit dry. And this bit of the background is watercolour or gouache with gold Posca, I think that is. Okay, by Nelke Schumacher from Sorcerers and Sorceresses Special, Colouring Heaven. And the latest jewel, or gem, this is from Batgirl by Lendl Art from my October time-lapse video, and it is that agate crystal behind the bats on her earrings there. There we go. I did actually Google pictures of agate to find out what it looked like, and it had these kind of layers or striations, and I tried to copy it from a picture on Google. I think that worked pretty well. And that's my latest attempt at doing a gem or a crystal. I don't colour many at all, apparently. Next on the list we have gold, metallic gold. This is my first attempt. This is by Jash Lee, back from September 2019, and this was done, a bikini top there, it was done using the gold pencil from my Colour set, and just shaded a little bit on top with a little bit of embellishment with gold gel pen, I think. So yeah, that was just using the gold pencil. It wasn't trying to make my own or anything. So there's that one. And I did do gold in my Batgirl picture there on her neck bow. But I am trying to show different pictures for each one. So the one I've chosen to show for gold is by Jash Lee from Fantasy Princesses Special Colouring Heaven. And it's this one. I have tried to make her waistcoat, jacket look like it's metallic gold sort of fabric, which I'm guessing counts for being metallic gold. That is the latest time I've attempted it. That is from 19th of September 22. So yeah, fairly recent, that one. I do like doing gold, actually. There's with Castle Arts pencils. There's a bit of paper collage on there, white gel pen, and marker base. Yep. And her wings were done with just with a gold gel pen, so that doesn't count as a pencil that we're looking for. So yeah, that is my latest attempt at gold. Jash Lee, Fantasy Princesses Special. Next on the list, we have the first and the latest time you've used Inktense or watercolour pencils, and I don't have any Inktense, so both of mine are watercolour pencils. This is from Johanna Basford, Enchanted Forest, and these are W.H. Smith watercolour pencils that I've used there in the background, and it's the first time I actually used watercolour pencils and activated them. As you can see, I didn't really know what I was entirely doing there. But I did make an effort. You have to try things to learn and to figure out how to use them. So yeah, that is my first attempt. I actually used some white ink there as well for these little dots to try and blend the colour out to the background. But I think there was another one I actually did while I was on holiday. So yeah, I didn't have my full range of supplies with me, but that's the first time I ever tried activating watercolour pencils from Joanna Basford Enchanted Forest. And the latest time is from Shadowscapes by Stephanie Puimun-Law, and you might remember this one from my December coloured pictures, but yeah, it's this dragon that I did with watercolour pencils and activated them and then used the colour back on top dry. I did it for these scales. I tried drawing onto the paper while it was still damp after activating it, and that makes the colour really intense, so I'm going to have to play with that some more because I like that. Yeah, I do like how that one's turned out. It really suits the style of this book, the watercolour pencil kind of medium. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that one. That is my latest attempt at using the watercolour pencils. Next on the list we have Night, a Nighttime Sky, and this is my very first attempt from Enchanted Halloween by Hannah Lynn. And there she is, also from my Owls video, this lady here. Now this is my first attempt at a sky. Xenical pencils, this one, I think, with a white gel pen or maybe white gouache to try and make a few stars in the sky there. So yeah, what's that from? September 19, again, another pretty early one. But yeah, my very first attempt at a nighttime sky. Enchanted Halloween by Hannah Lynn. My latest attempt at a nighttime sky is from Colouring Heaven Wildwood Witches Special by Steve Hutton, and it's a pretty simple one, just a little bit background behind my witch's head. There we go, and that's simply just a purple marker background with a little bit of pencil shading, and then some glitter glue on top and some white gel pen dots for stars. But yeah, that's a nighttime sky, so I am counting it. That's my latest attempt. Yep, marker base. That is my latest attempt at nighttime sky. Next on the list we have light source, which would be like a lantern, a candle, a fireplace, things like that. So this is my very first attempt. Let me zoom in again. Got distracted by the cat, so having to restart filming. There we go. And these are my very first attempts. Light source for those candles there. And I have done a little bit of yellow shading along the edges of this stonework to try and show the light, where the light is shining onto this stonework there. This is all Xenical pencils, I think. A little bit of glitter glue, but yeah, just colour pencil and trying to show where the candlelight was shining along the edges of the stone. My latest attempt at a light source from my December finished pages video is this fireplace, and I really do. I enjoy trying to show light, how it's really bright along the edge of this fireplace here, fading out into the shadows further away you get from the light source. I tried to show it along the bottom of the floorboards there as well, a little bit of a yellow chalk pastel. And this one was all with Castle Arts gold pencils. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing that one. I do love trying to show light in my painted pictures. It's not always as successful as I would like, but yeah, that one I am super happy with. That's my latest attempt at doing a light source. Next on the list we have winter pictures, and I don't colour many winter pictures, being not a Christmas or seasonal kind of colourist, but I did find two that might fit the bill for this one. This first one is kind of a Christmas picture. It's called Once Upon a Time in Yule by Ennis Guerrero from Dark Fantasy Special Colouring Heaven. But I think it's more winter than Yule, really. I did colour it in a Christmas kind of colour scheme with the red and white. Xenical pencils again, just a little bit of glitter glue. This was December 19, this one. But because of the snow, I thought, well, yeah, it's winter, so I'm going to count that. And yeah, there is quite a lot of shading going on in that snow there. There's not a lot of white left, actually. Quite a lot of pale blue and kind of a lilac-y purple. And yeah, another light source, actually. I could have counted that one, but yeah, there we go. My first winter picture. And one of my latest winter pictures I managed to find is in this book, Escapes Collage Art, and this one is by Marty Noble. Another one showing snow, which again I don't colour all that often, but yeah, this one. I would say that's more snowy, wintry than it is Christmas. So yeah, I'm going to count that. Loads of glitter on that snow there. This time I tried to show that the northern lights reflecting onto the snow with some yellow and some pink, and yeah, lots of glitter. So yeah, they're a lot more vibrant than the last one, I would say. There's some stickers there on it. The background is watercolour, I think. This dark blue is watercolour, but mainly pencil from what I can tell there. Castle Art, see the Castle Arts colours. So yeah, that's one of my latest winter pictures. Next on the list, we have flowers, and I'm not a flower colorist at all, but yeah, it took me ages to find one of the first flowers I ever coloured, and this is in fact the first flower I ever coloured, I think. This is from Messages from the Unicorns, Doreen Virtue, back from like 2015, 2016, and my unicorn has a flowery wreath on his neck and a little bouquet on his bum there, and these are the first flowers I ever coloured, and that really surprised me. Well, kind of, but not really, because I'm not really a flower colourist, and yeah, I remember really enjoying colouring these pictures in here, just flat colouring again with super tips and gel pens, but yeah, super fun. I do love unicorns, and those are the first flowers I ever coloured. And the last flower I ever coloured, again for my December finished pictures, is my Dewdrop Rose. There we go. That is my latest flower that I've coloured. I do kind of enjoy colouring roses, trying to get these little kind of patterns around the edges, the way the pink bleeds into the cream, and yeah, I did quite enjoy colouring that one and figuring out how to make these little dewdrops stand out there on the flowers. But there we go, my latest flower from Fantasy Creatures Special Colouring Heaven. That one is by Chet Minton. Fairy Dragon by Chet Minton. Next on the list we have a white object, and both of those are from the same colouring book. This is from Jasmine Beckett Griffith colouring book, Fantasy Art Adventure. The first one is this white wolf here. There we go, just simply, most of this is, I think I gave it a watercolour base, worked on top with the pencils, probably Xanacolor, maybe Arteza, don't quote me, it was way back like October 19. Yep, my white werewolf, she has a bit of grey, kind of a little bit of blue shading, and gone round with a white gel pen. Not much of an attempt at fur, but yeah, I was still really pleased with her. She does stand out from the background really nicely, which is what I was going for. And my latest white object, again from my December finished pages, if I can find him, there he is. Oh, I marked it. There we go, my white dragon in the corner there. Outlined with his silver gel pen that time. A bit of shading with turquoisey blue, I think. A little bit of cool grey, maybe. So yeah, my latest white object, well, animal really. My little white dragon. Again from Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Next on the list is house, and I've had to be pretty generous with this one because I don't colour houses, and I've expanded it a bit just to be building, because I have coloured a few building, not too many houses. And the first buildings, let me zoom out a little bit more. Oops, too much. There we go, the first buildings I ever coloured from Jash Lee. This one was a PDF download. And yeah, just a bit of city going on there. That's all with Castle Art pencils, I'm thinking. Just grey concrete, a little bit of dark blue and grey blue for the windows. I tried to make it a kind of stormy, autumny scene. Orange leaves on the trees, looking a bit windy out there. But yeah. First buildings I ever coloured. I really don't colour that many buildings, and especially not houses. There we go. That's my first buildings, and the last building I coloured from The Magical City by Lizzie Mary Cullen. And I think, yep, the Tate Gallery was the last picture I coloured. Let me zoom. There we go, Tate Gallery from the Magical City. And this one is watercolouring gouache paint that I've tried to colour in the style of Van Gogh, because it's supposed to be based on The Starry Night by Van Gogh, using the same colours, trying to show the same kind of paint stroke technique with the little dashes of pencil. Yeah, it's glaring a little bit because there is some silver gel pen in that sky. But yeah, you can see there on the edge of the steps, little dashes of paint strokes. Yeah, that was super fun, that one. I need to get back to this book. It's been a while. March 21. It's been a while. But yeah, that is my last building I ever coloured, sadly enough. Next on the list we have water. And the first water I ever coloured was in this book, which I realised I completely forgot about when I did my colouring book collection. But yeah, this is one of the books in my colouring book collection. And my very first colouring of water. And there we go. There's some water there in the background. Lots of yellow, bluish colours in there. Trying to show the sea in the background. Lots of white gel pen to show the foam on the waves. There we go. I do have one other picture I've completed in this, as I missed this one off my colouring book collection. I will show that one as well. There we go. That's the other picture I've coloured in this book. And this one was for a challenge where you have to pick one element to colour in actual colour, and the rest of it was to be grayscale, just with like graphite drawing pencils or grey tone coloured pencils, and that's the one I did for that. So yeah, those are the two I've got completed in that one, not including the first. There we go, the very first one. W. H. Smith pencils, I think, that one. But yeah, my first attempt at water. My latest attempt at water, I'm not entirely sure that it does count, but it is water. It's background for this mermaid, Hannah Lynn, Fairy Tale Special Colouring Heaven. And yeah, the background, it's polychromos pencil. I'm not sure if it shows very well, but I did erase some kind of lines coming down from this corner to try and show the light sun coming through the water. So I'm making it darker down towards the bottom, as the sea would be. So yeah, it's the sea, so it is water. Polychromos pencils in that one, from a little kind of set of 12 random colours that I managed to get off eBay just to try out polychromos pencils, and I basically used every colour in that picture. There's a bit of skin tone marker for her skin, the background of her skin, and I just shaded on top of the pencils. And yeah, that's my latest attempt at water. Next, an autumn page, and if I remember rightly, this is supposed to be autumn, not Halloween. So I do colour a lot of Halloween pictures, but this is one of the ones I have that is autumn rather than Halloween. Oops, I'll get it right, there we go. This is by Jo Johnson from Return of the Gnomes. Yeah, from Return of the Gnomes. And this one was coloured with W. H. Smith pencils. And definitely an autumn one with the orange and kind of the yellow red leaves from the floor. So even if it wasn't meant to be an autumn picture from the beginning, I've coloured it as an autumn picture. And the same with my latest one, actually. So yeah, that is my first autumn picture. December 19, like 3 years ago. Okay, and my latest autumn picture is actually marked, if I can find it. There we go. And this one is actually called Celtic Summer Fairy, but I have coloured her as an autumn fairy, so I'm counting her as an autumn picture. There we go, she's all on screen now. There we go, I've coloured her in autumn colours, the oranges, the orangey leaves there, so definitely an orangey picture. Definitely themed towards autumn, the way I've done it anyway. And I did her with Crayola colour pencils, and the background is watercolour with a little bit of just white gel pen there. And that's my latest autumn picture. Next on the list is a page you coloured in pastel colours, and that's something I don't usually do very much either, so yeah, it was a bit of a struggle to find, but this is the first one that I'm going to count. This is from April 2020. So, and this one was actually a challenge to colour in pastel colours, and I did cheat a little bit. I think there's a few non-pastel colours that have crept in there, but it's mainly pastel colours, so I'm counting it. And this one is all with Colour pencils, with some glitter glue and some gold gel pen. And yeah, one of my very few pastel colours pictures, that one. Kinoko Augusta, Animal Wonderland Special, Colouring Heaven. My latest pastel colour is one where I bought a set of Astra Pastelo pencils, and I wanted to try them out. And there we go. That's what I used on this one, is the Astra Pastelo pencils. A little bit of glitter glue, some little crystals. Yep, this is from Chibi Collection by Josh Lee, Colouring Heaven. Yep, a little bit of a bokeh effect in the background there, just by trying to erase the circles into the background. Adding a few white gel pen dots, make it look a little bit sparkly. She's an angel chibi, so yeah, I think that worked pretty well. And those pastel pencils are really nice, actually. That's my latest pastel colour picture. The next one is called drawing, and this means adding something or changing a picture. The first time and the latest time you did that. So the very first time I did that is from Mythomorphia by Kirby Roseannes, or Roseannes, however you say that name. I'm sorry, Kirby. If I can find, there we go. This is the very first time I added something to a picture. Apparently, looking back through Instagram, and I added in this waterline here and the city skyline in the background, because this werewolf is representing my werewolf roleplay character who lives in Chicago. So I added in Chicago in the background. It's not exact, I made it up, but yeah, it represents Chicago, and that's the first time I ever added anything to a page, I think. Mainly with gouache and watercolour, this one. Yeah, I think there might be a little bit of pencil shading and some glitter glue on her slobbery chops there. So yeah, the very first time I added to a picture, that one. The latest time I added to a picture is from Unicorn Special, Colouring Heaven. And it is this one by Selena Fennick. This one was from my October finished pages, I think. And I changed this one by adding, changing his head to be a skull, adding a few little bones, making him into a zombie. So yeah, that's putting my little touch on there, adding a few little bits. And yeah, I really enjoy doing that, changing pictures a little bit and putting my own little stamp on them. That one was super fun. There's a marker base, that one. Marker base with just pencil shading on top. Probably gold and silver gel pen, white gel pen, the usual staples. Oh, and there is a little bit of glitter on his one. Can we make it sparkle? Probably not. It's really dingy grey at the moment. It started pouring down with rain outside, so I'm just hoping the light is holding up all right. But yeah, that is the last time that I've changed a picture. Number 20 is Mandala, and I do not colour mandalas at all. I do not. I have coloured two, or one and most of one. And those are what I will show you. The first one is from Holland with Love, from Masha Vandenberg. And there we go. That is my mandala. First one I coloured. That's from May 2020. And one of only two that I've ever coloured. That is with Arteza pencils. I think that one when I had my first set of 48 Arteza pencils, and gold Sharpie on that one as well. From Masha Vandenberg, from Holland with Love. And my latest mandala is still a whip, but to be honest, it's the only other mandala I have ever coloured, so I'm going to have to count it. And it's a bit of a spoiler for my January finished pages and my rabbit theme. This is from Circle of Life by Melpomene Chetzipanagiotu. And it's this little bunny mandala here. I'm not sure it entirely counts as a mandala. Technically, it's not repeating patterns or anything, but it's the nearest that I'm going to colour to a mandala, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm counting that, and it's nearly finished. So yeah, that is my latest mandala from Circle of Life. And next, for a bonus, you could pick an artist. The first picture that you coloured by the artist and the latest picture that you coloured by the artist. So, my favourite illustrator, artist, Jasmine Becky Griffith. And this is Strangeling Special from Colouring Heaven. And the very first picture I ever coloured by Jasmine was this one. And I'm so going to colour this again in the actual colouring book and really do a much better job. But I did really enjoy working on that. Because, like I said, I really love Jasmine Becky Griffith. I love her work. Those girls with the huge eyes, awesome. Yeah, that's the very first one I ever coloured. And the latest one I coloured, again a spoiler for my January Rabbits theme, and unfortunately you have already seen this one in this video. But she is my latest Jasmine Becky Griffith, so yeah, there we go. This is from Alice in Wonderland colouring book. And I gave Alice a bit of a gothic makeover here. I went with the Tim Burton film version of the Cheshire Cat because I thought it might fit in a little bit more. And in my little brain, these were dust bunnies. So I did a little bit of sponging of paint on there to make them look all kind of dusty. And little dots flying around, a little bit of cloud of dust along the bottom of the page. And yeah, I had a bit of fun with that one. Gave Alice her little gothic makeover. And there we go. That is my first and my latest. I will link to Norwegian colorist video and her channel in the description, and I will give you a list of the prompts. So if anybody feels like you join in, she said in her video, she said you don't have to be tagged, just do it if you want to do it. So here we go, this is my attempt, and yeah, that was really fun, and quite a lot of it was surprising. But yeah, thank you for watching that, everybody. Hope it was fun for you as it was for me, and take care. See you in future videos. Bye!